Have you ever stared at a deep red trade burning your account, yet couldn't cut it? And then at another time, the moment a trade turns green by a few dollars, you rush to take profit, as if afraid happiness might slip away. Why do we hold on to losses for an entire week but only keep profits for a few brief minutes? This isn't a technical mistake, it's a mindset mistake. And your worst enemy is no one else but yourself. Welcome to Day Trader, where we expose the raw truth behind the waves of the financial market. Here, we don't just talk about profits and losses, we dissect the psychology, mindset, and mental toughness of a real trader. 1. Holding on to a loss isn't patience, it's stubbornness. You know the trade is wrong. You see the red candle growing longer, your account getting eaten away bit by bit, but you don't cut. Why? Because cutting a loss is admitting you're wrong. And humans, by nature, hate admitting they're wrong, especially after spending time analyzing, picking entry points, even holding a full brain meeting to make that decision. So instead of accepting reality, you start rationalizing the mistake. You say, the market is just hunting stop losses. It's testing support. It might not fall much deeper. I still have capital. I still have time. You convince yourself. You lie to yourself, just to delay the pain of having to press cut. Because a losing trade doesn't just hurt your wallet. It hits your ego, the trader's pride. You hold on to the loss because you believe if you haven't cut yet, you haven't lost. But cutting means officially losing. And that pain is twice as strong. But what's the truth? The longer you don't cut, the deeper the loss. The more you hope, the more desperate you become. The more you hold on, the more you drown in the psychological war against the market, a battle you will never win. Holding a loss isn't patience. It doesn't prove you're strong or tough, it's stubbornness. It's an uncontrolled psychological behavior where you refuse to face reality and choose to live in the illusion of it'll turn around. Remember, the market is never wrong, only your position is. And when you're wrong, what you need to do is not wait for luck, but limit the damage. A professional trader doesn't hold losses out of emotion. They place a stop loss before entering the trade and respect the worst case scenario. Because this game isn't for the stubborn, it's for those who know when to retreat so they can return tomorrow. Don't let a losing trade turn you into a hostage of your own emotions. Because the only thing you can control in the market is when you accept defeat to preserve yourself for the next round. 2. Taking profits too early. A reflex of the once defeateds. When a trade starts going green, you're supposed to stay calm, follow the plan, and hold your ground. But then your heart starts pounding. Your eyes are glued to the chart. Every candle feels like a gasp. Every price twitch shakes your nerves. You start thinking, better take profits now, just in case it turns around and wipes me out. And so, after just a few pips, a few dollars, a few percent, you hurriedly close the trade. You breathe a sigh of relief as if you've narrowly escaped a crash. You feel safe, but minutes later, you watch the price move exactly as you predicted, far beyond your exit point. You feel regret, you feel frustration. You say to yourself, if only I had held a bit longer. That painful loop repeats over and over again. Why do we take profits too early? Because we're afraid to lose. Profit is rare because we've lost too much. Profit is a fragile joy because we don't believe we can keep it. Profit is a barely blossomed result, so we clutch it tightly, afraid it might fall. Taking profits early isn't a sign of wisdom. It's a lack of planning. You have no clear goals, no defined targets, no trailing stop, no understanding of risk-reward ratios. Everything you're doing is a survival reflex. In other words, you're not trading, you're gambling. Here's a raw truth you need to accept. Those who take profits too early are not smarter than the market. They simply lack confidence in their own analysis. They enter trades without trusting them. And when you lack belief, lack discipline, lack a system, every decision becomes a gamble, a shaky hand, an emotional bet. To escape the trap of taking profits too soon, remember, always enter trades with a clear plan. Entry point, exit point, profit target. Ask yourself, if I couldn't watch the chart, would I still hold the trade until target? And most importantly, trust your strategy. Trust the probabilities, not individual trades. Taking profits too early won't help you survive the market in the long run. Only the right mindset and consistent discipline will keep you in the game. 3. Untrained mindset, ruled by emotion trading. In essence, isn't a game of charts, but a battle with yourself. And most traders don't lose because they can't read charts or because they can't analyze. They lose because they fail to train their psychology. If your trading mindset isn't sharpened, you'll fall into two of the oldest and most dangerous traps. One is fear of losing, so you close winning trades too early. The other is fear of being wrong, so you hold on to losses too long. Sound familiar? That's you. That's thousands of traders out there. That's the trader who thinks they're battling the market, but in truth, they're battling inner fear. You don't make money because you're afraid to let money grow long enough. You lose money because you're afraid to cut losses early enough. And in the end, all you're left with is regret, frustration, and confusion. But here's what you need to understand. Trading is not a game of being absolutely right or wrong. You don't need to be right 100%. You just need discipline with a 60% win probability and risk control for the other 40%. You can't control the market, but you can control how you respond to it. Imagine each trade as a bullet. A professional doesn't ask, will this bullet hit the target? They ask, if this bullet misses, will I still have the strength to keep fighting? And that mental preparation is what helps them survive and stay steady. Losses are a part of trading. Greed is part of human nature. But if you don't learn to identify, control, and transform both of them, then you will always be a victim of emotion. You will forever run the cycle: expectation, disappointment, emotional collapse, and soon your account will become a costly lesson. Want to escape that? Build a trading system with clear rules: entry, exit, risk-reward ratio, capital allocation. Only trade when you have a scenario and stick to that scenario whether it wins or loses. And most importantly, learn to control yourself before you dream of controlling the market. Strong mindset, good discipline, sustainable profits. It's that simple. 4. To survive, you must control yourself. In the world of trading, survival is not for the strong, but for those who can control themselves. You cannot force the market to follow your will, but you can precisely control every mouse click you make in response to the market. Traders don't lose because they don't know the trade is wrong, but because they lack the courage to stop at the right moment. Traders miss out on profits not because they fail to see the price continuing to move, but because they lack the determination to stick to the plan. Trading is a psychological journey. Every trade is like a bullet. When you pull the trigger, you're betting your money, time, and emotional energy on it. And the right question isn't, will this bullet hit the target? But rather, if this bullet misses, will I still have the chance to keep shooting? A surviving trader is someone who knows when to cut losses, hold gains, and stay out when uncertain. They don't hold losses just to prove themselves right. They don't take profits early out of fear of losing the reward. They follow a system, not emotions. And they understand one thing: victory in the market doesn't come from a few big wins, but from staying alive through hundreds of small trades. You want to go the distance? Want to become a real trader, not a gambler? Then start by learning to control yourself. Because the market punishes no one. It's your untrained emotions that destroy you from within. Final note: what I want to say, if you've ever held a losing position in pain, kept a red trade for days just because you didn't want to admit you were wrong, if you've ever taken profits too early out of fear, only to regret it when the price kept moving in your favor, then you're not alone. Everyone who steps into the market has made mistakes, but mistakes only truly hurt if you learn nothing from them. Trading is not just about technique, it's about mindset and emotion. No one succeeds long-term if emotions dictate their decisions. No one survives without training discipline like a warrior. If today you want to change, comment, "I'm changing." Let that be your first step toward trading more professionally. Follow this channel if you want to join me in strengthening your mindset like steel, understanding how to build a proper trading system, and avoiding the mistakes that have pushed thousands of traders out of the game. Remember, knowledge makes you better, but mindset is what keeps you alive. And the journey of change begins the moment you dare to look within, starting now.